we have to talk about Dr. Fauci. You know, I can't talk to you and not talk about Dr. Fauci. The other day, Senator Rand Paul referred Dr. Anthony Fauci to the DOJ for prosecution for supposedly misleading Congress over the National Institute of Health's funding of the Wuhan Institute of Virology's gain-of-function research. Chris, should the American people be worried that a publicly funded federal agency provided financial aid to a lab in Wuhan administered by the Chinese Communist Party?
Well, yeah, but I don't. In this case, there's an old saying, right? It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. I don't necessarily think what they were doing was particularly unethical or even a bad idea. I know that's probably, counterintuitive. A lot of people think I'm crazy for saying that, probably. But you got to remember, this lab was set up and funded, I believe, before the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Right? Quite a long time ago. And we have this idea where we don't fund gain-of-function research in America, and we don't do that kind of stuff. We don't study that kind of thing because it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
But the problem is you kind of need to study that stuff because there could be pandemics that come along and we need to be able to have some kind of defense against them. I understand why somebody would want to do that. I kind of like that cowboy mentality of even if there's a law against it, I still want to do it. I kind of like that, right? But the problem with Fauci isn't that he set up a private lab in China, because you got to understand, before Trump, people didn't even really think of China as the enemy.
Yeah.
People were all cozy with China, thinking China is kind of like the nerdy guy on Survivor that ends up winning the whole game because people totally underestimate him. You know what I mean? So China was sort of quietly spying on everybody and building up their military and building up their economy. And nobody was really paying attention. Everybody just thought China was still this third world country. And then Trump comes in and he's like, you know who the biggest problem in the world is? China. Everybody said, oh, crap, you're right. We never even thought about that. I think the lab was already there. We were already funding that lab. So, I don't think he thought that was a danger at the time, even though it very obviously was. So now that they had the lab leak, now that we had the COVID pandemic, now that could all be traced back to him, he starts to panic. And he doesn't say, listen, this is how it started. This is, this is how we need to fix it. He goes, it came from a wet market. It came from somebody ate a bat. That's what happened. It's like, well, no, actually, you did it, and you just don't want to. He got scared. He panicked. Okay, that was really the crime wasn't the crime. The crime was the cover up of the crime. So to me, that's really what we got to worry about. These politicians that panic and want to cover their bum. And Fauci is the worst. I mean, he just immediately started lying, and he hasn't stopped lying since. That's Fauci's big problem right now, I think.